Hello again, my name is Anna Dziadkiewicz and I'm a lecturer at the University of Gdańsk in Poland in the project SB Wellbeing Tourism in the South Baltic region, Guidelines for Good Practices and Promotion. I act as Information Manager. Today, I want to invite you to participate in the next and last online workshop in which I will discuss cost and benefits structure, also in the eco-social context. This building block describes the most important costs incurred while operating under a particular business model. Creating and delivering value, maintaining customer relationships, and generating revenue all incur cost. Such costs can be calculated relatively easily after defining key resources, key activities, and key partnerships. Some business models, though, are more cost-driven than others. There is a reason why elements such as costs and benefits in a business model are discussed last. You won't determine costs without first analyzing the company's resources, operations, and partners. In business models, cost structures can be either cost-focused or value-focused. In the former case, companies will seek to cut costs wherever they can. In contrast, companies pursuing a business model with a value-based cost structure focus more on providing value to customers at the right level, such as companies targeting well-being customers. The examples of value-focused structures are attractive value and high level of individualization, for example, in prestigious hotels. We also divide costs into fixed costs, salaries, rents, variable costs, proportional to the amount of goods produced, serviced, rendered, economies of scale, for example, for large purchases, wholesale prices, and scope, expansion of business. For costs, you must answer the questions. What are the company's activities that require the most money? What generates the greatest costs? And what key resources cost the most? Now let's talk about eco-social costs. All of the business activities in a company result in both ecological and social costs. The ecological costs may be the emissions that are being released by the company that is providing you with energy, or the effects that your service has on the natural environment surrounding you. In terms of social costs, those could be, for example, the employee strength and time that is going into your company, or the local population of the place you are residing in, and how they are influenced with your products and or service. For a sustainable business, it is always important to integrate these aspects into your business model from the beginning. By doing so, you gain an advantage above those who later on realize the importance of the subject nowadays, especially in regards to well-being tourists. Is it therefore important to answer the questions? What ecological and social costs in our business model creating? Which key resources are non-renewable? Which key activities use a lot of resources? For the evaluation of these questions, it is advisable to conduct a life cycle assessment, as LCA of your product and services, as well as a common good balance sheet. The LCA consists of 4 steps. In step 1, define your goal and scope. It can be a product, company, or service, and ask yourself, what do you want to measure? In which system will you measure? In which parts of the life cycle and in which impact category? Water or others? In step 2, we need to collect and structure our data. It is worth considering what data we need. In this step, we collect all the inputs and processes we want to measure. For example, raw materials and bill of materials, energy we consume and purchase, supplier data, and everything that goes into and flows out of the system we want to measure. In step 3, we need to assess the impact and translate our data to impacts. To do this, we review life cycle databases, for example, EcoInvent, and scientific papers to determine the impact of our life cycle inventory. We also sum up the impacts in aggregate terms, for example, global warming potential. In step 4, we interpret the data acquired and determine how high our emissions are, how our products perform, and whether we can improve them, and whether we can improve our processes, and what our greatest levers are. Once the costs have been analyzed, we can move on to the most pleasant part, the revenue analysis. In this part, we need to consider how your customers pay and what costs will be incurred, how much resources will cost, and how much to pay for key activities. Revenue streams represent all the sources of earnings for each customer segment. So answer the questions: what are your customers paying for now? And what value would they be able to pay for? How are they paying and how could they pay? What is the contribution of the revenue streams in question to your overall revenue? Consider what, how, and how much customers will pay for your products or services. In this block, you enter how much money the company generates in each market segment. A company may have several revenue streams that will differ in their pricing mechanism. For example, customers may pay for your products according to a set price list, or you may use rates that can be negotiated. Also consider whether customers should pay a one-time fee for a product or whether you want to introduce a subscription fee. One product can generate revenue in these different forms, and why not make it a point for you to use our promo codes? In order to encourage our well-being travelers to conduct an environmentally and socially aware well-being tourism, we have invited various places across the South Baltic region to be a part of our promo code system. This means that all well-being travelers who visit our well-being atlas and are aware of and keep themselves up to date with our traveling concept have the chance to receive, free of charge, kind and heartfelt treats from various well-being places. These treats could result in a beverage, a snack, a small produce, and many more. And how does it work? First, register your email below, then receive the promo code via email. Show the code at a home of well-being. And finally, receive your treat free of charge. Now, let's focus on eco-social benefits. Eco-social benefits could be contributing to raising the awareness of travelers about certain ecological or social aspects in general, or helping reducing the emissions that would of otherwise be released in the atmosphere. It is very important to be aware of these benefits and to communicate them effectively through your channels whenever you are given the chance. They could be the reason why a well-being tourist would consider your business or not. In order for you to be aware of these benefits, please answer these questions. What ecological and social benefits is our business model generating? Who are the beneficiaries? Are they potential customers? Can we transform the benefits into a value proposition? If yes, for whom? Next to the common good balance sheet, you can also use the social reporting standard as in order for you to measure your social benefits. I hope you find the topic of creating the business model for well-being tourism or reinvention an existing one interesting. Remember that in addition to the presentation, you can take advantage of additional materials added throughout the course. I also invite you to visit our website, wellbeingtourism.com, and our social media or Wellbeing International Association. We are also available to you at email addresses. I want to add at the end that the presentation is produced in the project as well, Wellbeing Tourism in South Baltic region, guidelines for good practices and promotion with support from the EU-Interreg South Baltic program. Thank you so much for your attention and goodbye.